Hey there, Libra. Welcome to your reading for, this is your August bonus reading, actually. And we're just going to jump right in here, Libra. We're going to take a look at the main events that are going to be happening in the month of August, and we're going to see what comes up for you. So, sorry, I realize that this camera, or this computer is in the way, but kind of needs to be there for now. But anyway, we're going to take a look at the triple conjunction that's happening on August 1st, and that will be between Mars, Uranus, and the North Node. Technically, this whole entire deck is upside down as well. But technically, they're not conjunct. They're all right on top of each other at 18 degrees. So definitely a major event as far as I'm concerned. Next, we're going to take a look at the full moon in Aquarius on August 11th. And we're going to see what that has to do with you. This whole entire reading actually, look at this reading. You have the Eight of Wands, the Ten of Cups, the Judgment card, the Sun, the Six of Cups. This is looking pretty good to me so far, Libra. In the next row, we are going to look at the Uranus retrograde that will be happening on the 24th of the month as well. And sorry, I keep forgetting that, this whole thing is upside down, but Libra, look at these cards. This is amazing. And finally, in your last row, we're going to look at the new moon in Virgo that is going to be on the 27th of the month, at the end of the month. So let's see what we have going on for you here, Libra, and that'll be that. But Libra, you start off here with the triple conjunction with this dragon card. It says power on it. You also have this fair woman card. It says dealings or relationships with a woman with blonde, gray, or white hair. As I always say, I don't attach gender to my cards in these general readings. So you could be dealing with like any type of person in your life, or just pretty much anything that's coming in for you here. So I do feel like you are kind of in a position of power, clearly. It is interesting that you have the sun. Well, I'll just show you here. You have the sun right next to the Six of Wands here. This is definitely like a position of power. The sun is definitely a lot of attention coming in for you. And the Six of Wands is being in a position of excellence. So I feel there either could be or is a lot of attention coming in for you at this time. You're not the only sign that has had something about attention. Sorry, you know what I just realized? I just realized, this is what happens when I wake up early, I get really excited, which I can't help it, right? And I decided to mess around with everything. So let's just make sure, okay, well, it's a little bit in the way, but, I don't know. We're doing this live here, Libra, so we're just going to deal with it and fix it later, right? But anyway, sorry if you couldn't really hear me at the beginning there. You probably could, but maybe not so great. Anyway, what I would say here is that I feel there's a lot of attention. You're not the only sign that has had a lot of attention coming up for you. In your first row here, you have the Eight of Wands, you have the Ten of Cups, and the Judgment card. Again, I do feel there could be a lot of communication coming in for you at this time as well. This could be more from like your higher self. This person right here is your higher self angel right here at the top of the card. So I do feel there could be kind of some communication coming in your dreams, in your daydreams, at night when you're sleeping, whatever you want to call it. So I feel there could be a lot of communication coming in for you with this energy. And you also do have the Eight of Wands as well. So I would be paying attention to those things. You don't really have any other spiritual cards here yet. We're going to clarify at the end, of course. But, again, there's nothing else really standing out to me that could represent something like more spiritual. But again, I would be paying attention to what you are feeling called to do at this time. And, again, the first row looks amazing. So you have the Ten of Cups as well. Ten of Cups is like fortune after difficulty. Sometimes I don't feel like it's really talking about anything, as in this is the card of the happy home, happy family. But sometimes in a reading, I just feel like it's talking about fortune after difficulty, basically good things coming in after a difficult period of time. So I feel like there are just improvements coming into your life. Also, I feel it would be an amazing time for you to socialize. Again, these two cards together, Eight of Wands and the Ten of Cups, are really good cards for socializing. You have a card at the end that just has community on it. So clearly, I feel like it could be a really good time for you to socialize, for you to get together with other people, for you to do things with people, enjoy yourself, like all that other good stuff. The Eight of Wands is also a card of quick success. And so I do feel like you are finding success quickly, or, obviously success is coming in for you very quickly with this energy. So I definitely like to see that with the Eight of Wands as well. But you definitely have the best first row. I'll put it that way. To me, this conjunction, really, again, the three planets, or the two planets in the North Node are really on top of each other, not really conjunct, although they will be moving, they will conjunct again. But what I would say is, to me, it kind of is a little bit of a trickier energy, but for you, looks pretty good. So definitely like it. Next, in the area of this full moon on August 11th, you have this golden egg card. You also have this quill card. It says, get back to the basics. I feel like that's great advice pretty much for everyone. Going back to the basics. I really, truly, intuitively feel that's what's going to be best for everyone, is kind of like focusing on the things that have always worked, right? In your life. And I also feel that and what I will also say is that this golden egg card is kind of about having something really, really special that you maybe want to create, do, or have in your life. Could be an experience, a business, a relationship. And I kind of feel this quill card is just saying, go back to basics. It's like there are time-tested things for pretty much everything that you can possibly imagine, right? There are techniques and tactics and tricks and whatever you want to call it that pretty much work for everything that we do in life. And I feel like this is saying, just do those things. Do the things that have always worked, and they will continue to work for you. And, I feel like this goes for like business and work and pretty much everything else. So I definitely really like this energy for you. And I would, again, just kind of like stick to the basics. You have the Page of Swords, the Sun, and the Six of Cups here. The Six of Cups, believe it or not, is also a card of things kind of improving. To me, it is my card of a turnaround. It's actually a gift from the universe, and usually the gift that we receive from the Six of Cups is obstacles being removed from our path. So I do feel for a lot of you that there are obstacles that are being removed that you have been maybe dealing with for a long time, or there could be it could be one of those things where if you've experienced any like speed bumps, breakdowns, things like that, I kind of feel this is more talking about receiving a gift. And again, I say this also because of the Sun. The Sun is a card of happiness, joy, enlightenment, just good things coming in for you. But I kind of feel that sense of like overcoming something. You can see this baby is on this white horse, and the white horse in the tarot, or just horses in general, can represent assistance or something coming in to help. And that's the feeling I get for you around the time of this full moon, which is going to be around the 11th of the month. I feel this energy of like kind of something coming in to save the day, something that comes in, maybe it doesn't save the day, but maybe it's like a form of assistance, or again, a gift from the universe in the form of overcoming an obstacle or overcoming some sort of challenge. You also have the Page of Swords here. The Page of Swords is about looking for something, and it's kind of interesting to me that the Page of Swords kind of has his sword up against the Eight of Wands. It's kind of like he's standing back there and he's looking at the Eight of Wands. So I would just say, if you receive any advice, or if people are trying to give you advice, again, I'm not telling you what to do here, as always, Libra, but what I would say is that there could be some good advice coming in, and you could be like a little skeptical about it. And I'm not saying we shouldn't be skeptical about advice, because if there was ever a time where I would feel like we should be super skeptical about all advice that we receive, even from me, that's like why I always constantly say to people, don't listen to me, right? Go do your own research, because, to me, I don't like Neptune and Pisces. For the most part, I mean, there are good things that are going to come from it. Outer planets don't really affect us that much, but again, I just feel like there is a danger of like, I think in the near future, over the next few years, we could see like, especially when Neptune actually, after it leaves Pisces and goes into Aries, like we could see the rise again of like cults and things like that coming back, and I think it's because, Neptune and Pisces, it's like sometimes we're looking for a savior, or we're looking for, people to do things for us. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but, it's like, I feel we need to kind of question everything right now. And, I would just be very careful of like not questioning things. But at the same time, what I'm trying to say is I feel like there could be very good advice that you're receiving, probably from a family member, judging by the fact that you have the Ten of Cups and this community card here as well. And you also have the Ten of Pentacles. It kind of gives me the vibes of maybe a person from your family giving you advice, and I would listen to it for sure. What I would also say is, I would say, especially if it's kind of like going back to basics, like if you're receiving advice from a person where if you think about it, it's kind of like very basic advice, I would actually say that's the clue here in the reading, that it's good advice. Next, for the Uranus retrograde on the 24th, you have the full moon in Aries. It says a fiery climax approaches. You also have this Bull card. It says plenty of material things. So there's clearly a lot of abundance coming in for you here with this Bull card. So I feel you could be receiving a lot of abundance. You could be receiving a lot of the things that you want in life. I don't know where I was going with that. I was going to say something else, but I just feel like there could be a lot of material success coming in for you here. And clearly we can see that because you have the Ten of Pentacles, you have the Six of Wands, and you have the Justice card. This is your energy. You're showing up in a very strong position, so I like to see that. But what I would also say is I kind of just get more of that feeling of like fairness here, Libra. I feel like you just feel like the universe is maybe being more fair to you or creating more balance because maybe you're more able to have or get or receive the things that you need in life. And so I definitely like to see that. The other thing I like to see is actually, I'm going to switch back to this camera because I love when two sixes are touching like this. You have the Six of Cups and the Six of Wands. To me, two sixes in the tarot like this, like when they're touching, especially if they're the positive sixes, to me, it kind of is just confirmation that you're on the right path. It's like confirmation of your path, confirmation that you're doing the things that you're supposed to be doing in your life. So you have the Six of Wands here. And the Six of Wands card of achievement, success, it's a card of excellence as well. And I kind of just get this energy of you being in a position of power, like we said with that very first card that you had at the top of your first row. I kind of feel you're in this position of power and strength with the Six of Wands. What I would say to you is one of my favorite books of all time, I actually just started listening to it again, is The War of Art. And it is an amazing book by Stephen Pressfield. And in it, he talks about resistance. And it's like when we start kind of experiencing, when we start to become successful, he kind of says that other people might put their resistance on us. So, you know, if other people see us be successful, they might start hating on the things that we're doing, or like they might not be hating on the things that we're doing, but they might be saying things like, why can't you just be happy? You know, like if you're trying to grow a business or something like that, they might be like, why can't you just be happy doing X, Y, and Z? Or they might bring things up like, what are you going to do if you don't have health insurance? And, you know, all these other things, right? And so I always tell people to ignore those things. You know, especially if you're like starting a business and that's what you want to do. It's like, yeah, you might not have health insurance, but it's like, you know, I always like to say to people like that, it's like, you know, it's like, have you ever watched 1,000 Ways to Die? It's like people have died walking down the street and like, you know, they trip over a tiny little chihuahua and crack their head on the pavement. It's like, you know, it's like, what if, right? It's like people die every single day walking out in front of a bus, right? It's like, you know, so it's like, why worry about the things that we cannot control? But also, what Pressfield says anyway in that book, enough of my crazy theories, right, is that, you know, when you start becoming successful, that's when you're really kind of going to experience the resistance, especially from other people. And the reason I'm saying this is because there's a person there's a person right here, and they kind of look a little bit jealous. They kind of look like they're, I don't know, upset that he's successful. But I feel like you need to realize that you've earned this. And again, he also says in the book that it is super important that when we start experiencing that resistance from other people, and when we're very close to success, we also experience the resistance in ourselves. That is the moment when we really need to like really kind of go home, like, you know, push hard. Because if you push through that, I mean, this is the result right here. Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles, like everything you want in your life. You know, as I always like to remind people, you know, this isn't, you know, the Disney Channel. Are you ever really truly going to have every single thing that you want? Probably not, right? I want to eat pizza every single day, but you know, it's like I eat pizza for a month. This is the result, right? Now I'm back to busting my ass to lose weight and stop doing it. It's like I'm a grown man. I should learn how to just like not eat pizza, right? Even though I love it. So what I would say here is that, you know, can we ever truly have everything we want? No. You know, and I'm sure plenty of people are going to say, well, you could have cauliflower crust and all this other stuff. It's like, excuse me, I'm Italian, right? There is no cauliflower crust in my life. There is none of that, right? I need the real thing, people, not fake stuff that I brainwash myself into believing is real pizza, right? So again, rant over. But what I would say here is I feel like there's a lot of good stuff clearly coming in for you. You have that plenty of material things card. You also have this Ten of Pentacles. So I just see this as a lot of success and abundance coming in for you. And again, if you're experiencing resistance from the other people, I would just ignore it, especially around the end of the month here with that, with that kind of Uranus retrograde happening around the 24th. Finally, in the area of the new moon on the 27th, you have this community card. You also have this needle and thread card. It says, a sincere wish is being granted. This is an amazing reading for you, Libra. Like I said, very, very positive. A lot of good stuff coming up. So I feel there could be a wish coming in for you here. That community card, I feel, is, number one, assistance from someone. Again, this reading is pretty clear to me that there is assistance coming in from like a family member. I wouldn't even say like a friend or anything like that. I would say if you have a friend that you consider to be a family member, like, we all have like that friend that we consider to be like a sister or brother or something, maybe, but really intuitively, I really feel like it's a family member. Very clearly that's coming in for you. That is going to be offering some sort of assistance, probably in the form of words or advice, take it how it resonates. And I feel it'll be extremely helpful with this energy. I also feel like there are a lot of wishes just that are, there's like a lot of fulfillment coming in for you here. And again, what I would say here is that I feel that there is a very strong need with the energy we're dealing with this, not only this month, but into the foreseeable future. It's like, how can I make sure that I'm kind of like spreading fulfillment and creating more fulfillment for other people as well? So if you could do that in your community, I feel like that would be great also. You have the King of Pentacles, the Five of Cups, and the Five of Swords. To me, this is about taking some sort of risk. The Five of Swords is my card of taking a risk, not the traditional meaning of the card, but it's what I've always felt intuitively. Five of Swords is a card of like winning at all costs, can represent a breakup, walking away from things, all that other stuff. But this guy here, he's kind of risking things because he's taking those three swords and he's leaving these two swords right here. Those two people in the background could turn around, they could run back, grab those swords, and trust me, if you've ever tried to fight with three swords, it doesn't go so well. It's like harder to swing, so they could easily attack him and win. But he's taking the risk. He's trusting that he can come back and grab those swords later. And I feel for a lot of you that this is talking about a risk. You also have the Five of Cups here, and you have the King of Pentacles. Both cards can kind of represent kind of overcoming something from the past. And what I mean by that is he's lost his taste for wine back here, something that he once enjoyed. And he has these two cups behind him and this bridge in the castle. If he were just to turn around and see those two cups, he would see the bridge and the castle. So this is a card of gratitude and being grateful for what you do have in your life. It's also a card, like, what I would say here is that I feel like there's new opportunity pretty much for everyone right now to change the way we do things. Anything, health, business, just where you live, anything you want to change, right? And even the King of Pentacles is a card of convention. It's a card of the way things have always been done. So for a lot of you, I feel like there's clearly a lot of financial stability coming in for you. But what I would say is that I feel like opening up to new opportunities would be a good idea with the King of Pentacles for sure. So that's what I get for you here. Again, for those of you that are, I'm sure, going to ask about love, I wouldn't really, I feel like love is always available to you. As I always say, I don't really feel it's necessary to do love readings. That's why I don't do them. Except if love comes up in a reading, then I'll talk about it. But I wouldn't really call this a love reading. I feel like for those of you that are in relationships, clearly this looks very good. Obviously, again, if you want love, I'd be getting out there and socializing. 8 of Wands, 10 of Cups. Socializing, dating, meeting new people. So we're not going to clarify the whole thing, like I said, but we are going to clarify a few cards here. I want to clarify this 8 of Wands. You have the Page of Wands. Page of Wands is a card of going on an adventure, kind of like just doing something. I do get a lot of that, like rip the Band-Aid off type of energy from these readings. It's like, I kind of like rotate how I do readings, because it's like usually the signs that are at the end, which you're at the end this week, or I should say this weekend, for the weekend readings. It's like usually the ones at the end, it's kind of like all the energy comes together. I kind of like see what has happened for all the other signs, and so it kind of like makes more sense, if that makes sense to you. So I always like am switching back and forth, so nobody's a favorite, right? But what I would say is it's interesting because pretty much everyone has had this energy of like needing to go on an adventure and stuff like that. But having come to the end of all these readings, it's like now I understand what it is. It's more kind of like this ripping off the Band-Aid thing, where I feel like if we just kind of jump right into something. And again, it's no mistake that I started reading that book yesterday, The War of Art. And yes, I understand there's a book called The Art of War. People always correct me. No, that's not the book I'm talking about. I'm talking about The War of Art, which is a different book altogether. Excellent book. Definitely recommend it. Top 10 for me, for sure. But I started reading it because I noticed this in the readings. And definitely a good one if you want to read it. And there are plenty of summaries on YouTube as well. But what I would say is that I feel like we kind of need to just kind of jump right in. In that book, he basically, kind of like the gist of it also is to just start working on the things that you want to work on. So if you have any projects, business ideas, anything like that, I kind of feel like the good solution right now is, just getting working on things. For the past few months, I've really been saying and noticing in the readings that fortune favors the bold. I keep saying that. And I feel like it couldn't be more true now than ever. So I would say being bold, just kind of trying things and seeing what happens. I really feel the universe is going to be rewarding that. With the Ten of Cups here, you have the Fool. Yeah, again, if you want love, I would just get out there. The Fool is really about having fun, as well. The Fool is about, enjoying yourself, doing things that you enjoy, so I feel that would be a great idea as well, socializing, meeting new people, kind of having a good time. All that is going to be good for you. In the middle row, I want to clarify the Six of Cups. You have the Death card, exactly what I was talking about. This is in the full moon in Aquarius. I was talking about how I felt like that was a gift. So clearly, there's an ending to some difficulties or challenges that you've been experiencing with that Six of Cups. I want to clarify that Sun as well. You have the Hermit. This could be enlightenment, basically, coming out of the darkness with the Sun card. So, like I said, pretty simple. No need to go crazy here, right, Libra? I kind of just feel like this is talking about you overcoming obstacles or understanding how to. In the next row for the Uranus retrograde with the 10 of Pentacles, you have the Wheel of Fortune. Damn, love it. Definitely a significant change in your fortunes. There is a need for a little bit of control with the Wheel of Fortune. You can see the snake over here, and the snake kind of represents your vibrations, the energy you give off. The wheel is also always turning. And it can turn forwards or backwards or, it can pretty much turn in any direction. So it is a card of needing to kind of control your reality, needing to happen to life, needing to make sure life doesn't just happen to you. And so there are a lot of things you can do to make sure that happens. And that's what I'd be doing here. But overall, I feel like this is a change in your fortunes for sure. With the Justice card, you have the Seven of Wands. Sorry. The Seven of Wands is a card of conviction. It says when you know that that something is going to be successful for you, it will be successful. So I would kind of make sure to just know that you're doing the right things. And if you do that, then you will be successful, plain and simple. In your last row with the King of Pentacles, you have the Knight of Wands. Again, you cannot make this stuff up. Literally, just go watch the beginning of any reading that I did for these bonus readings. And I stopped saying it because it was so annoying. I was annoying myself when I went back to edit every single video where I was just talking about the Knight of Wands, on and on and on. Knight of Wands is about going on an adventure. It's about being spontaneous. Long story short, literally, the energy of August wants us to be spontaneous. It doesn't want us to be fixed. And it's no mistake here. King of Pentacles, Taurus, right? We are in this Taurus. At the beginning of the month, that triple conjunction is in Taurus. Very fixed energy. Knight of Wands, total opposite. Spontaneous, random, bold, assertive, kind of just goes for things. So that's what I'd be doing with that Knight of Wands energy. With the Five of Cups here, you have the Three of Wands. What are you waiting for here? Again, I pretty much feel this is true for everyone, the Five of Cups energy. And I kind of feel like it's just, a collective energy. It's a sign of the times. It's kind of like the energy that we're in. I feel we all have something in our life, could be like a business or relationship, a person, our health routine, could be anything that we kind of value on a very deep level. But I feel like a lot of us have lost our taste for it, again, with the Five of Cups. And I feel like we don't realize that we have something much more secure, behind us, basically. Not really behind us, it's just new. Those two cups behind us, basically. And it's much more valuable than the three cups, even though it's only two cups. It's something new. And I kind of feel that a lot of us are starting to see these opportunities, but Three of Wands really says that we need to kind of jump onto the opportunity. We need to take advantage of the opportunity, and we need to make sure that we're kind of making things happen. I want to clarify this Five of Swords as well. Six of Wands, you will be successful if you take a risk. And again, I would think about resistance as well from other people in your life. But this is definitely one of the better, one of these readings that I've done for sure. Again, for pretty much everybody else, challenges, right? And I'm not saying there aren't going to be challenges and that there aren't any here, but definitely much better than everyone else. So thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Make sure to watch your sun, moon, and rising for a full picture of what's going on for you at this time. But thank you, and definitely enjoy your month.